when it comes to decision making, and it very well could be a main reason. I don't know. Like, I mean, each individual, it's called an individual relationship. So, I mean, it very well could mean that God gave you, all of us, free will. So he just wants you to make, your own decision and make it, and then, go from there. You can't stay still forever. The sun comes up, it comes down. The seasons change, the time changes. The world doesn't stop turning for anybody. So don't stay still. And I'm not saying be compulsive and just sit there and say a prayer and then wait 5 minutes and then go run and then make your decision. Sure, if it's a life altering or life changing decision, and you have a relationship with God or whatever, I mean, just pray and look for that. See if God will get back to you. Sometimes he will. Sometimes, it's God's will for you to work a certain job, or, move to a certain neighborhood, or a city, or marry a certain individual. Sometimes I'm not going to sit here and what I'm saying is the term soulmate is not of God. It's not of the Bible. It's nowhere in the Bible. And people hijack verses like the one with David and I forgot who it was. But I think it's in Deuteronomy. I don't even know where it is. I don't even know. It's David and Jonathan, and the verse talks about their souls knitting together as one. All that means is that they had love for one another, kind of like you have love for one of your friends, kind of like I have love for one of my friends. Dude, I'm not gay. It means nothing about, it just means you just kind of like walk up to one of your friends and shake their hand. It's called giving someone love. That's all it is. It means that they were friends. They were tight. They were friends. They were best friends, kind of like you and one of your best friends. That's all that means. So people want to take a little verse like that and kind of twist it. And the reason I kind of brought up the gay stuff is because people take that verse and they want to make it gay too. Like, that's a big one amongst the homo. I'm not saying every homosexual looks at that verse and does that. I'm just saying, it is a verse that certain members of, or members. What am I talking about? That was a horrible way to put it. Certain homosexuals, look at that verse and they say, see, nowhere in the Bible is God condemning or disagreeing with homosexuality. So, they take that verse and like pick it apart and personalize it and hijack it and just make it something that it's not. All that verse means, it speaks nothing about soulmates or, there's one person for everyone, and, we're all on this chase for one another, or it's nothing gay or anything. It just has to do with the fact that David and Jonathan, in that one particular verse, they were friends. They were friends. They were tight friends. They were best friends. They were probably best friends until they died. Best friends until they died. I mean, I don't know if the Bible even spoke how long they were friends, but they were tight. It has nothing to do with anything other than that. Period. People like to take simple verses like that and dissect them and personalize them, and no, that you can't do that. And you can tell. I mean, if you're doing stuff like that, you can definitely tell that God's not giving you that revelation. I mean, if you're getting that sort of like revelation or something, either it's coming from you or some weird spirit or something, but it's not coming from God. I'll tell you that much. What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. As far as the whole soulmate thing goes, like, soulmates is like, the whole soulmate theory is like there's one for, there's one person for everybody. I grew up thinking that. Really did. I mean, I didn't bank on it. I didn't meditate. I didn't dwell on it. I didn't really care. I didn't care at all. And I really still, I don't, even if soulmates were real, I don't care, man. I'm good, being who I am. I'm not some needy person. I'm not thirsty. I'm not running around trying to hook up with somebody. Man, it is what it is. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's just as well, man. I'm cool. Really. I mean, but people get caught up in this stuff. People think that there's, there's this one person for me. That one person could be anywhere in the world, and if destiny, eventually we'll bump heads, and it'll just be crazy powerful. Like, people get caught up in this mystical weirdness that doesn't even exist. Believe what you want to believe. Believe it. whatever you want to believe. I'm just saying, biblically, it's not even in the Bible. And like I said, we were put here for God. We were not, I mean, like I said, of course we need one another, and we should love our family. We should love our friends. We should love each other. Like it's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to love one another. God calls us, all of us, to love one another. It's not going to happen because we live in a fallen world. One minute we love one another, and the next minute we hate one another. It's crazy. But God calls us to love one another. And I'm not just talking about a fuzzy feeling. I'm talking about, love one another. I mean, it's easy to love somebody who loves you back. It's easy to be nice to somebody who loves you back. It's easy to say hi to somebody who says hi to you first. It's easy to, be nice to somebody who you like. Who can't be friends with somebody who is friend? It's, if you're friends with somebody, you're friends with somebody. But what about your enemies? What about somebody who did something to spite you and isn't even sorry about it? Can you love that person? I'm not talking about walk up to them and be friends with them and give them the impression that, what they did to you was okay. I'm not talking about that. But let's say that person was down and out and they needed somebody to talk to. And that person did you up and down in the worst way. And you have every right. I don't mean every right, because no one has a right to do this, but the way our minds think, we have every right to sit there and spit on that person and to laugh at that person and say, ha ha, now you need me, now you need people, but guess what? Remember that time when such and such happened and now you need somebody to talk to? Well, guess what? I'm out of here. Goodbye. It's so easy to sit there and just dump on people because they dumped on you X amount of months or days or weeks or years ago. If you really love people, you're going to look at that person. Sure, they did you wrong, and you still might have to forgive them. You might be furious at them. But you're going to push all that crap aside. You're going to walk up to that person and meet that person's need. Why? Because they need somebody. Whether it's you or anybody else. And if you're that, maybe you're an answer to that person's prayer. Did you ever think of that? Maybe that person is at the end of the rope, and you're the answer to that person's prayer. Maybe that person was praying really hard the night before, and you come along. And you walk away from that person because you just over some personal vendetta. Maybe they did do you wrong. But what if that person really needs someone? Do you really know how to love? Do you? It's so easy to love somebody it's so easy to love the people who love you back. What about those people that find every reason to just really drive you into the ground in the worst ways? Can you love those people? I didn't say like them. I didn't say sit there and give them high fives and let's go see a football game. I didn't say be their friend. You can sit there and have a problem with somebody, but push that aside and just kind of hang out with them for a few minutes and, you can be a presence. You can love people but not like them. Can you do that? Can you love your enemies? Can you? Because I mean that's what God calls us to do. That's what loving your enemies means. It doesn't mean sitting there condoning behavior. It doesn't mean that's all it means, pretty much. So, God calls us to do stuff like that. And a lot, that takes God. That takes God to do stuff like that. I mean, it's not the way we are. We can't just see our enemies and just, I mean, that's, so... Yeah, I mean, I was actually going to go somewhere, but I ended up veering off on that. I don't know what I was going to talk about. But, yeah, I mean, forgiveness is very important, and we are called to love people. So we do need, need to love people, and God does call us to love people, but we weren't made for each other. And that's what soulmates is. Soulmates is, soulmates... The term soulmate tells us that there's one person for everybody. So but that takes the attention off of God. That's what I'm saying. The term soulmate teaches us that there's somebody out there for me. There is. That's God. We're put here for God. There's no person out there. A soulmate, The whole soulmates theory tells you that another person can fulfill your need. Another person can heal you. Another person can really fill that void that everybody seems to run around. People chase money, they chase drugs, they chase girls, they chase sports, they chase their cell phones, they chase video games, they chase their I don't know, whoever, whatever. People chase these things. You think money makes you happy? There's a billionaire right now ready to blow his brains out. Does that sound like happiness to you? He's got all the money in the world, but what else does he have? Nothing. Likewise, there's a poor person somewhere, maybe even, I don't know. By American standards, none of us are poor. But I'm saying by American standards, there's somebody living in some slum somewhere. Guess what? That person is happy. Do they have money? No. Not at all. But they're happy. Why? Because they have God. They don't have $1 billion. That person has $1 billion. And they're miserable. Happens every day. It's happening right now. Somewhere in this country. You know? Money cannot buy godliness. Godliness is love. God is the only one that can fill that void in your heart. Not people. Not money. Not video games. Not sports. Not your mother, not your father, not your kids, not your aunt, not your uncle, not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend, not your husband, not your wife. Yes, love one another. We need one another. Love your families. But the whole soulmate thing takes us away from God and puts the focus on ourselves. Soulmates tells us that there's another person out there. People complete people. No, we don't. That's dumb. That doesn't even make sense. There's not one. I mean, look, of course, there's people out there who I really, really do love. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying that, we're all put here to love God and then we're supposed to sit there and look at each other and kind of just shrug our shoulders like, no, that not at all. Love each other. We're called to love each other. Love our enemies, love our family, love our friends. God wants us to do that. He promotes that. He loves that. That's what we're supposed to do. But there's a God up there, and the only one that can fulfill your needs, no matter what it is God himself. And I'm still learning this too. Look, I'm the home run hitter. I'm not coming up here trying to act like I have it all together. Definitely not. Definitely not. Definitely not. But what I do know is that God has done some awesome things in my life. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. And I can't speak on, experiences, that I have and things that I'm, kind of pulling through now. The things of this world are very, very temporary. Money, even the people, our families. People, are born into this world and people pass away every day. Jobs are lost every day. They're gained and they're lost. 1 minute you're up, the next minute you're down. What comes up must come down. I'm not saying if you're up there, I'm not saying you're going to lose everything you have, but it happens. It happens every single day. In 2016, you think your job is safe, huh? Well, somewhere in this country, I guarantee you somebody lost their job for some reason. Somebody lost a son, a daughter, somebody lost a mother, a father. Things are temporary. Somebody can walk into your driveway at 3 o'clock in the morning and steal that lovely car that you just adore so much, that you just love to wash on the weekends. That car means everything to you. That car can be gone tonight. Somebody can break into your garage. No, they can't. No, but yes, they can. Trust me. I guarantee you, where there's a will, there's a way. Somebody will snatch that car right up out of your garage, and you'll go to say good morning to your little car friend, and you'll be like, "Where did my car go? I thought no, it's gone, but it's gone, dude." Well, I have a OnStar. Trust me, criminals nowadays are smart. There's people out. Trust me, man. You don't think that there's someone out, there's ways around stuff. If somebody wants to jack your car, bro, somebody's going to jack your car. It's that simple. So, that's the problem with this world. That this world is temporary, everything in it. So that's what soulmates tells us to do. Soulmates tells us that, it tells us to put our focus on temporary things. Anything can be a soulmate. You know that? A mother, a father, well, according to what soulmates aren't even real. Believe whatever you want to believe, man. I'm sitting here saying that it's not even biblical. You know, so soulmates could be anything. A soulmate could be an animal. A soulmate could be a dog, a cat, a mother, a father, a son, a daughter, a wife, a best friend. It could be anything. That's the soulmate theory. The soulmate theory takes the focus off of God, the only